So welcome to another episode of Paul's Asian Adventure. Please watch to the end because there's a pretty funny blooper with Mia when she's trying to do the introduction. So enjoy. Thanks. So welcome back to Paul's Asian Adventure, another episode on Paul's Asian Adventure. Today we are talking about province life versus city life. And that was Mia who came up with this. Sorry, she's been laughing a lot. We had a blooper just before we did this one. And she's the one who came up with this topic when we were walking in nature.
I am right.
So maybe you want to start, babe? What's some of the things you want to cover for, like, what attracts you to province living? What do you think will attract people to living in the province versus the city? What do they have to offer?
I think, like, it's just for me, but I really love the nature.
Mm-hmm.
I love the sunrise and the sunset.
Okay.
And I love how the birds, it's just like above you.
Then the sounds of nature.
The sounds of nature, and you can hear the waterfalls, and you can hear the wind, the rivers, and all that. So it's very nice to have that kind of thing the very first in the morning, when you wake up, and it's
sounds another of the birds,
another beautiful day in the nature. And
the sounds of the birds instead of the sound of the cars.
Honking instead of
honking.
The dog barking.
Well, I think you have dog barking.
But it's less.
It's
less because, like, I mean, dogs in the province, I think they know each other.
And they know the people there.
So they know the people.
So they're not going to bark every time somebody walks. Yeah, that's true.
They only bark when,
stranger. And there's no strangers. So, and if they start barking, something is wrong. Unlike here, they're freaking barking all the time. Okay, so some of the other things, as housing is cheaper, right? So you probably get a lot better housing for the same amount of money. Food is also would probably be cheaper because you're right at the point where it is produced, right? So also fresher, I think.
Sometimes the neighbors would just give it for free to you. Like, if you're gonna be real best friend to that neighbor, you're gonna say
they want to be your friends and give you free food. So food is more fresh in the province because that's where it's produced, right? So, and cheaper, obviously. You have fresh air every day instead of polluted air. So it's going to be the other thing. Of course, it's going to be a lot less traffic than in the city. You already
rain a lot
up in the mountain. It rains more, so if you like rain, that's nice. Like, we love the rain. So
we love the rain.
So it's got amazing nature, so it's probably safer, wouldn't you say? Less crime.
I would say that.
And
unless you're a bad guy.
So it's probably more quiet than living in a city. Now, some places in the city is quiet, like if you live in a nice subdivision with rules, and the question is if the rules are actually followed. The neighbors typically in the province will be a lot more friendly. Everybody knows everybody, which can be very nice because it makes you feel safe, but can also be a disadvantage because everybody knows your business. So if you're up to no good, you don't want to be out there. And then, of course, there are the women. A lot of men prefer province girls because they find them more natural. They find they have less of an attitude. They're less westernized, right? Also, to be honest, you probably have a better catch in the province because, the city girls, they see a lot of foreigners. In the province, you might be the only one in that village, right? Or one of two or three. So you're much more of a catch than in the city, right? Because in the city they have abundance of foreigners. In the province they don't. So again, it's just like it's just like what do you call it? Like a marketplace, right? It's
your price is more higher.
your value is higher, right?
Yeah. Plus, maybe you'll just find out early in the morning there's a girl doing the harana instead you.
Yeah.
Here's
So
the vegetables.
yeah, and that's actually true here. A lot of time the girls put the moves on you.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily
I did
put
that
the.
to you.
Yeah, you did that to me. That's right. So because you're a commodity, you're not a commodity, but you're something of value here. You know, because you're different. You know, you come from a different culture. You look different. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. You also have money compared to other people. You have many advantages that a lot of girls are looking for. Plus, I don't want to put everybody on the same boat, but typically, you know, especially when it comes to younger women and younger Filipinos, a lot of Filipinos don't treat their women as good as foreigners do. That's kind of what I've heard.
Yeah.
Is that true or not?
It's true.
It's true. Okay. So your opinion that is true. So there's a lot of advantages for a girl to be with a foreigner, and so if you're the only guy in that village, right? you got a big advantage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe you gotta be getting big there because you know they're gonna offer you this. Why don't you have this food? Oh no. What about?
I think actually if you live in the province, you're gonna gain less food because think about it. When you live here, we go to the coffee shops. They have all the pastries. They have all that stuff. And I think if you live in the province, it's more natural living. It's more
healthy.
Vegetables, meat, fruit. It's much more healthy than living here. So the other thing we talked about is girls. You'll be much more popular with the girls, but at the same time, you can't be like changing girls.
Can't be a player.
If you're that type of person who wants to change girls every few months, you can't really do that in the province. I guess you could, but you'd be putting your life in danger because I think people there are more protective of their reputation of their girls.
Yeah.
You know, the fathers and all that. So
It's like
they reckon if you're with a girl, it's because it's serious. It's not like a 6-month girlfriend or a 1-year girlfriend or a 2-month girlfriend. If you're with that girl, it's because you eventually are planning to get married.
And
That's so if you have no goals of getting married, I would say don't date a province girl. You know.
And also, like in the province, it's more of a family oriented.
Yeah,
much more than the city.
There's less.
Because in the city, it's like, you know, we could be family, but I don't care. You know, it's less like.
It's more core value.
Yeah.
You know, they're more
like
religious.
The father holds the thing.
Yeah.
In the family, and you know, so.
Family is more important.
Yeah.
So yeah. So some of the disadvantages of living in the province is it's less of a social life maybe, because here we have the coffee shops, we have the restaurants. You can go.
You can
go to the bars, meet people.
Say that, but when you say less social life, it's like you're all alone. Where you're in a province, baby, you could talk to your neighbors.
No, all alone would be no social life. I said less social life.
Oh, okay. Okay, continue.
Of course, we talked about this already, but there'll be less restaurants, less coffee shops. You're also far from a lot of stuff. Like, for example, if you want to go to Robinson or the supermarkets to get, you know, spices, you know, a lot of the stuff, they don't have it in the province. They have the basic necessities like vegetables, fruits, and meat.
But
everything else, you kind of have to go into town to buy.
Yeah, like less amenities in the province.
Yeah.
I mean, they have schools in the province, but you know, the food and all that, you can get all the food, all the things that you need.
You get more variety
city.
In the city.
Yeah.
You get the spices, you get the different types of fruits, and so on and so on. But in the province, you're kind of down to base necessities. So you have to travel to town, you know, once every so often to get what you want to get.
Yeah.
Now, the other negative that you mentioned was healthcare, right? You're far from the hospitals.
Far from the hospital, and like if you are in bad shape, and it might be not a good idea to live in the province if you are really in a bad shape.
Yeah, it might not be the most ideal situation.
Yes.
But also remember that the older you get, the chances of something happening to you increases exponentially. So the chances of getting a heart attack at 30 is very low, right?
Yeah.
The chances of getting a heart attack at 70 is much higher.
Higher.
Even much higher than 60. So it just increases like that. So the older you get, I would say the closer you need to be to good health care.
In the city.
Yeah. So that's something to think about, depending on your background, your family history and all that. The other thing is bad internet, which can be a good thing and a bad thing, right? We talked about that because if you have bad internet, you're not always on the phone, your girlfriend is not always on the phone.
And it's a good thing also.
Yeah, I think it can lead to more
talking, like communication.
Between you and your, Plus, I think you have more time to think, you have more time to read, you have more time to walk in nature.
More time to contemplate about life.
Instead of just watching YouTube. Except for Paul. Yeah, you can watch YouTube, except for Paul's Asian channel. Adventure, I mean. So, also, it can be bad phone service. Can be, not always, but can be
not
bad.
Always,
yeah. But also on the internet part, that's going to change in 2021, 2022 because of Starlink. Once Starlink is implemented, in the Philippines, you'll have 100 MBS, so it doesn't matter where you live in the Philippines. We already mentioned that if you're in the city, it's probably a lot easier to meet girls in the city, I would say. I don't know. It probably is a lot easier to meet girls, but the girls in the province are probably more dedicated to you, wouldn't you say?
I think
on average, it's gonna go both ways, right? But girls in the city are kind of spoiled. No, spoiled is not the right word, but they've had more choice than the girls in the province. Yeah, so.
But
But in the city also, you have the advantage, if that's what you want, to meet more girls than just being with one girl. I mean, some people.
Because also, if you met a girl in the province and. Maybe her English is not that good, so like your communication is less, and you can't do a genuine talk, like like you can talk about different stuff, like science and all that.
Yeah, it'd be like, how are you doing today, babe? Good. And that's it.
Are you okay? Yes.
So, but that leads to another point, is that typically, again, I'm just talking averages here, so don't take anything out of context. This is all averages. But typically the girls in the provinces are probably less educated and less worldly. So you probably have less to talk about if you're kind of that person now. Could you meet a girl that's
if you are a talkative person,
like me, you're probably not. It's probably harder to meet somebody like that that you can talk to and have a genuine conversation. So to me, that's very important in a relationship, that
it's the communication,
and we can talk and laugh and everything. So I think so any other points you can think of, babe?
I guess it's like less fun. So on average, like here in the city, you can go to there's gonna be a party. You can go to a different party also, like
party.
Like activities, fun activities.
But I think you cover that under social life. There's more social things going on here. You can go to the bars, you can meet people, you can hang, you can play pool at the bar. You can go to the coffee shops, meet up with people. You can go to restaurants. It's just, like I said, if you want to be lonely, you can be lonely in the city. If you want to have every day filled with social life, you can have every day filled with social life. It's really up to you. While in the province, your choice? I think in the province your choices are diminished, but there's other things that maybe makes your life gives more value to your life. I think for me, That's just me, and everybody's different. For me, the perfect living is living close to a city or inside a city with easy access to nature, the way we do in Dumaguete, right? Like we go to nature maybe once or twice a week, and we go hiking or swimming or something. And to me, that's enough. I don't need to do it every day, you know? So I'd rather be in that situation than living in nature and then driving into town. But then again, I've never lived in a situation like that. Maybe if I lived like that, I would completely change my mind. Who knows? I'd find it so refreshing.
And also maybe, like, you know, when you live in a province, it's also, you get this, you're more into family, your family relationship is kind of, what would be the word? Like, like your family relationship is kind of intact, you know, like you are not into social, you're not into like social
There's
medias.
more bond between the family.
Yeah, there's more bond in the family than living in the city, because like, as you know, we all know that we go to a restaurant, there's these families and they're all on their phone, and they can't get off their phones, and you know, it's a family. You're in a restaurant,
but that
you should
to me,
be a family bonding.
I agree with you, but that to me is not just the city. That's just bad parenting. Like it was my kids, they wouldn't be doing that. I can guarantee you that. That's just ain't gonna happen. So yeah. So I think that about wraps it up on this episode of Paul's Asian Adventure. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any comments, or tell us what you prefer and why you prefer it, and if you've lived in a province or city, or maybe you've lived in both, leave some comments and we'll go from there. We'll continue the conversation below.
Are you gonna put the bloopers?
Maybe. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
You finished?
Yeah.
Okay. So welcome back to another episode of Paul's Asian Adventure, and for today's video we're gonna do
Okay. I think I'll just do it.
I forgot to do it.
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay.
Can you finish that chocolate before we continue?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. I'll just start it over.